Balls to the wall.
Welcome back to Strange Thoughts.
We are all impermanent.
Odds are at some point in your fleeting life you've contemplated what your personal zombie apocalypse survival guide would look like.
Grab Mum, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over.
You might have come up with the inventory you deem necessary in order to better your chances. Perhaps you've determined who you would team with versus who would hold you back. Maybe you've learned a thing or two from others.
Here's how to survive a zombie apocalypse.
Good grief.
Here's the thing. I don't care how many Boy Scout badges you've accrued over the years.
That is a zombie, not a bear, dumbass.
Makes no difference how cohesive the unit is you travel with, and as far as you ROTC nerds are concerned, ROTC might as well stand for Rotting Ominous Traveling Corpse. You and every other human with a heart still beating are doomed, and with a foundation cemented by the late great George A. Romero, from night to dawn to day, I'm gonna tell you why.
In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. What's in your head, zombie, zombie, zombie.
Chapter 1, Night of the Living Dead.
Reason number one, you have no clue what it is you're up against.
If anyone is out there and can hear this, you must listen carefully. Something terrifying is happening and...
Johnny and his sister Barbara just drove 3 hours to pay their respects to a father they hardly remember on behalf of their mom, who opted to stay home. Because not even the anniversary of her beloved husband's passing trumps crochet night with the besties. Johnny notices Barbara's got a serious case of the heebie-jeebies and could really use some comfort. So being the older brother that he is, he screws with her.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Then a weirdo shuffles towards them like a zombie from off in the distance. It's something Johnny uses as a prop of sorts to scare Barbara even more. All in harmless fun, of course. I mean, it's not like he's an actual zombie. That wouldn't be possible. Johnny sees this as his moment to shine. Back in grade school, he was a lanky, nerdy kid lacking the confidence to defend himself. Now he's a lanky man nerd. But this not-zombie weirdo is even more awkward and gangly than he is. In essence, Johnny trusts he can take this prick. You'd fight him too. It's one thing for you to mess with your sibling, but a peculiar stranger? Fuck that. Unfortunately, it's during this MMA brawl you'll discover there's more to this dude than meets the eye.
We interrupt this Strange Thoughts broadcast to better acquaint you with the tragic situation at hand. Joining me is Dr. Richard of the Greater East Ridge Institute. Richard, am I to understand you and your colleagues have determined the specific details behind this horrific turn of events?
Yes, we have, Bill. Could you, if it's not too much trouble, cue up the slides I brought with me?
Of course, homie. One moment.
Okay, so we've determined these series of attacks are being perpetrated by the undead.
What you talking about, Willis?
I'm talking about the dead, reanimated, brought back to life.
How is that possible?
That remains unclear, but we have figured out their MO, so to speak. See, it seems they are driven by an insatiable hunger for human flesh.
That's not good.
Well, no, Bill, it's really not.
Either are these slides, Richard.
What do you mean?
They're a little creepy, no?
You watch your tongue. My niece and nephew drew these for me.
Well, maybe they should get evaluated or something. Crates come in all shapes and sizes these days.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Can we just stick to the daunting subject at hand here?
No, yeah, totally. Please proceed.
So they love our flesh.
Right, insatiably.
Seems, too, they will stop at nothing to acquire said meal, devouring us whole until all that remains is our bones.
I'll be a monkey's uncle.
They can't be stopped by normal living human means either. You can't knock them unconscious or end their renewed life with a bullet to a heart that doesn't beat. The only, and I mean only way to stop these things is by destroying their brain.
Damn, that's heavy.
Heavy indeed, yes. And Bill, well, I hate to be the one that has to divulge this, but should you or anybody you know get scratched or bitten by one of these things, you will be infected with whatever it is they are. And the horse pill here is, once you're infected, you will die very quickly, I'm afraid. Like shockingly fast. And your body must be burned immediately until all that is left is ash. For if not burned to ash, you too will reanimate and seek the flesh of those you loved in, well, I guess you could say another life.
Wow, that's, well...
Yeah, I know, terrifying, insane,
Fingers crossed my mother-in-law tries to hug one.
Damn it, Bill, this is serious. The number of these things are growing rapidly.
So's her entitlement.
Okay, should I just...
No, sorry, I'll nip it. Continue.
Where even was I?
You were saying they're growing in numbers quickly?
Okay. It appears for every one of them we stop. 12...
Whoa, Nellie.
Oh, my God. How'd that...
Richard, is that you?
Just hold on.
Heavens to Betsy. Or should I say Richard to Betsy?
Seriously?
Honestly, that's more shocking to me than the undead coming back and eating us.
You know what, Bill? How about you kiss my ass?
Perhaps. What would you be wearing? Yo, what the hell? Did one of you guys order pizza? Oh, crap.
Okay, that got weird. To close out what Richard was saying, this is a pointless battle because the conclusion is inevitable. Fighting zombies is like playing football against a team way bigger than you. Only for your team, tackle rules apply. All they have to do is remove the flag secured to the back of your waist. Hasta la vista, Johnny. Barbara runs for her life faster than she's ever run before, yet the sloth-paced zombie manages to stay on her tail. It's probably got a lot to do with the fact that she trips on nothing, incessantly. She manages to make it back to the car, only to realize the keys are in her now-dead brother's pocket. Hit that subscribe button and turn those post notifications on if you hate it when that happens. Business really picks up as our zombie friend grows increasingly more hostile. For the love of God, someone get this man a Snickers!
Hungry like a zombie? Bite a Snickers!
Back on foot, Barbara continues to run fast as hell while the zombie keeps up slow as shit. And then she sees it, a Texas chainsaw looking farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. How inviting. After letting herself inside this potential inbred torture dungeon without so much as a courtesy knock, Barbara looks around. From a window, she discovers her stalker hit up the boys. But she's inside. The door's locked. Could be a lot worse.
Roll 'em up.
She panics, stumbles backwards, down the stairs, through the hall, and out the f***ing door. Really, Barbara? Oh, hey, Ben.
Strange thoughts, what's up?
Not your survival odds, I'm afraid.
Reason number 2.
A total lack of human dependency.
First of all, if anyone assumed Barbara's the main protagonist here, think again. She's literally one of the worst female characters of all time. She just does nothing, adds nothing, is completely pointless. In a 60-minute sit-down discussion that you should totally check out, Guillermo del Toro compliments Romero on his ability to write strong female characters, to which the legend himself said this.
Not in the first.
No, so not in the first film. No, but eventually you do.
I mean, just imagine. You're in this large farmhouse working your ass off to secure it by boarding up every last door, window, and means of getting inside, while the person you're with just lays around and wallows like a giant piss baby.
Run it through the 6 with my walls.
To top it all off, she doesn't so much as acknowledge a single word you say.
Look, I don't know if you're hearing me, but I'm going upstairs now. Okay.
I retract my statement about Barbara being pointless. The more appropriate thing to call a character like this is a detrimental burden.
Strange thoughts was right, you detrimental burden.
Never said hitter, but moving on. When you've finally done everything you can to zombie-proof the place all by yourself, you discover there's more people here. People who knew you weren't a zombie because they could hear you hard at work, yet waited till you were done to make their presence known. How awesome is that? There's Harry, who goes by Cooper, who's the type that wakes up every day and chooses verbal violence. He's in a loveless marriage with Helen, who's of no real help here because she's too distracted by the daydream of divorce papers getting served to him on his birthday. They have a daughter too, Karen. She's laying sick in the cellar after a run-in with a zombie. That's not sus at all. Finally, we've got Tom and Judy. When they're not being annoyingly cutesy with each other, Tom is a level 99 indecisive yes man. He has a knack for seeing the merit in everyone's suggestions, even if it means he winds up agreeing with completely opposing viewpoints. It makes him less a person of use than he is a total migraine.
You going down there with him? Well, yes or no? This is your last chance. No beating around the bush.
Basically, you're stuck with a group of people you can't depend on or trust in a situation that hinges on those things. Fully realizing these are the clowns you're forced to coexist with is enough to make you completely snap.
There's everywhere.
come the inevitable moment you've got no choice but to bank on their help, they will undoubtedly let you down and leave you to die.
Coming in! Cooper! Cooper!
Yeah, Cooper's not coming, Ben. Reason number 3, fake news. As this crisis initially erupts, it's presumed to be a large-scale attack reminiscent of something out of The Handmaid's Tale, just, not gender-specific. Anyone tuning into the news is prompted to hunker down at home behind securely locked doors. Praise be that advice. You've seen those Purge movies, and the tranquility of your couch seems a lot more comforting than the murderous streets at night.
Oh, you are so lucky! So privileged!
Along with Ben and other sensible individuals, you take the advice to heart, barricading yourselves indoors. However, the narrative soon shifts, with emerging reports casting doubt on the wisdom of staying put.
When this emergency first began, radio and television was advising people to stay inside, behind locked doors for safety. Well, that situation has now changed.
They tell you not to freak out, though. Shelters have been established in every town, equipped with everything necessary to ensure your safety. As cool as that sounds, this new directive arrives much too late. The undead have multiplied exponentially. So much so, the journey to the car in your driveway that could transport you to the safety of a shelter is at this point a Mission Impossible stunt that not even Tom Cruise would dare to tackle. As defeated and frustrated as this might cause you to feel, you need to understand something. That something is the constantly changing narratives. From conjectures of coordinated attacks to this being a zombie uprising, it's pretty obvious there's a clear lack of understanding of the true nature of the crisis at hand. From advising to stay home to the urgent recommendation to seek shelter, it's pretty obvious there's a clear lack of understanding of what to even do. Everybody's just scrambling to pull whatever solution they can think of out of their ass, because admitting there isn't one would be admitting how doomed we are, and mass panic would surely ensue. Were you to slip some kind of truth juice into their drink, reports would likely sound more like this.
We don't honestly know what the hell is going on, or what you should or could do to keep alive. Shelter rescue stations have been set up in a number of towns, but who's to say how safe those even are? If we're to be completely real here, it seems like we're all just pretty
Reason number 4, if zombies don't kill you, this will. In the biggest hypothetical ever, let's just say despite the hostile, unfamiliar threat, catatonic sister, people-pleasing couple, irrational husband, fearful wife, and infected child, you, like Ben, somehow managed to survive the night. Come morning, an armed fleet of locals led by their trusty sheriff have a blast going hunting for zombies. What could go wrong? Well, humans by and large turn manically impulsive when faced with dire circumstances.
Help! Help! Get them! Help!
It's a dangerously negligent, trigger-happy response will likely never course correct, because the consequences of our faulty actions in these scenarios too often fall on deaf, oblivious ears. In this particular circumstance, guess what? You're the consequence. See, when it comes down to it, you can fight like hell all you want against this new threat you and everyone else is forced to contend against. What you won't expect, however, is the biggest, most idiotic threat of them all, the living.
Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
Chapter 2, Dawn of the Dead.
The saying goes that it's always darkest before the dawn, but whoever coined that phrase clearly never contended with zombies.
You alright?
In this world, darkness just seems to deepen, along with a sense of growing dread and unease. Humanity, ever the master of discord, can't seem to unite, even when faced with an apocalypse-level threat. Instead of working together to combat the zombie menace, we've essentially turned World War Z into World War III, a battle of us versus them versus, well, ourselves. And yet some still harbor the notion that they'll make it through unscathed.
I'll be okay.
Hope is dwindling, and an increasing number of people are abandoning their responsibilities and making a run for it. That's what Roger's doing. He invites his buddy Peter here along to his planned escape to Canada, where nothing bad ever happens.
Whatever it takes, I know I can make it through. If I hold out, I know I can make it through.
Hey, it's great great to meet you guys. Make Damn Sure is one of my faves.
His helicopter pilot friend Steven is dating a woman named Francine who works at a local news station. They're gonna borrow one of the choppers and ride in style. Sometimes, though, plans change. And that's exactly what happens when our four musketeers catch sight of, yo, Raj, what are those things called again?
Looks like a shopping center, one of those big indoor malls.
To give credit where it's due, a mall does offer a certain tactical advantage against zombies. Stocked with food, alcohol, weapons, ammunition, and even entertainment options, it's practically a survivor's paradise. That being said, reason number 5, your cockiness will get you killed. Do you consider yourself to be a confident person? I'm confident a lot of you do.
That's good.
No, that's bad.
Whatever we as humans find confidence in tends to flourish the more we're immersed and excel at whatever that particular skill happens to be. With each day you manage to survive during this zombie apocalypse, that confidence will amplify, and each zombie you eliminate will 10x your sense of invincibility until you eventually grow a golden god complex.
Be gone, vile man! Be gone from me!
You'll feel untouchable in a world overrun by desperate undead corpses whose sole purpose is to, well, touch you and rip you apart. It's what you consider to be your greatest strength, however, that will ultimately lead to your downfall. You'll get complacent, and in your complacency, strategic planning will be discarded in favor of winging it. Winging it when it comes to zombies is fucking stupid. This is something your egotistical brain will only grasp after you're bitten, infected, and laying in a makeshift bed, writhing in pain while slowly losing your mind.
We whipped them and we got it all!
Oh, how the mighty will fall. You'll go from being the Michael Jordan of zombie killers to Charles Barkley post-Monstars stealing his skills.
Not Charles Barkley. It's a wannabe who looks like him. Be gone. Wannabe?
Now, I know what you might be thinking.
What if I'm not confident? What if I wouldn't bet on myself to fare well when it comes to mundane things, let alone a zombie apocalypse? What if I'm not one for confrontations? I mean, what if I've never shot a gun prior to this madness? Never even so much as held one. What if, while the conceited jackasses out there see this whole thing as a party, my idea of a party is locking the door and dreaming of better days? I'd be a total sure, but would I at least survive longer?
Nah, nope, no you would not. When pit into a scenario such as this, you'd have no choice but to find a sense of confidence. Men, women, whatever, really have to step it up here in order to not be written off as a liability. Your gooflaboof ass would force yourself to, at the very least, pretend you're as tough as these other knuckleheads think they are. What a f***ing goober, man. Look at him. He's lost it. The more you pretend, the more you'll believe. The more confident you perceive yourself, the more arrogant you'll become. Before you know it, you'll be right alongside these other, figuratively speaking for now, walking corpses, taking dumb risks you shouldn't and acting careless. At that point, it will only be a matter of time before you're turned into a zombie. And the second that happens, that same friend who gave you the nickname Flyboy won't hesitate for a second to shoot you between the eyes so that you die, boy. Reason number 6. All good things inevitably end. Like an apocalyptic first world problem, having everything they could ever need is nice and all, but our trio of mall rats are starting to get bored and fussy. They yearn for anything interesting to happen, and that wish is about to be granted. While Steven's teaching Francine how to fly the super loud attention-grabbing helicopter, they're spotted by a couple members of a biker gang. These hoodlums and their posse later attempt radio contact from their Scooby van, pitching to be let into the mall so both sides can join forces. Doesn't that sound nice? A How to Beat channel would tell you to accept that friend request. The more the merrier, they'd say when it comes to fighting zombies. And they'd once again be steering you in the wrong ass direction. These guys are batshit. And they're not just surviving, they're reveling in the new lawless land, a testament to human nature, unbridled and unhinged. And they're not just bad shit, okay? They're also full of shit from the jump. Like, they lie to you immediately.
Okay, look, there's 3 of us.
What's not a lie, unfortunately, is this is a total lose-lose situation. Let them in, they'll double-cross you immediately. Their red flag's crazy. If you tell them to go find another mall, they'll just see that not invitation as an invitation to take the damn place over.
We don't like people that don't share. You just up real bad.
And breaking themselves in also means breaking in an endless horde of zombies. What was your once idyllic hideout suddenly becomes a Thunderdome where blood is shed and death is ultimately unavoidable. I bet Canada sure sounds nice right about now. As would the boredom and resentment felt prior to these clowns infiltrating your space. Returning to our previous reason for a moment, Peter suggests when these scumbags break into the mall to let them take what they want and leave. He's certain, with reason, that they'd never be able to find the trio's carefully camouflaged entrance to their quote-unquote home. Newly confident Steven, however, has other plans.
Fiber, where the hell are you?
This is their turf, and he's badass enough at this point to take them all on, killing who he must until the rest flee on their bikes and in their trucks and vans. Dumbass enough at this point is more like it. His arrogant decision to take matters into his own hands is the catalyst to their downfall, while the biker gang invasion serves more as an opportunity for stupid decisions to cost you everything. But then right as you're ready to give up completely, you'll remember what started this conflict in the first place. One of you knows how to fly the helicopter. Reason number 8, what goes up must come down. George Romero provides perfect material for our Can't Beat series. I mean, the man himself who created this world was smart enough to know, be it courtesy of zombies or humans that are still alive, none of us stand a chance at surviving for the long haul. As shocking as the ending in Night of the Living Dead was, Romero just saw it as the logical conclusion. Which it was. Dawn of the Dead was to end no differently, in the sense that every main character was going to die, with Peter and Francine ultimately deciding to take their own life before the zombies ripped them apart. After filming these moments, Romero paused to consider how necessary it was to show their deaths on screen. He wondered if it would be too repetitive to how the previous film ended. After careful thought, instead of killing Francine and Peter for all the audience to see, he threw them into a situation that implied they wouldn't be okay for long. Francine starts up the helicopter, and Peter makes it to the roof just in the nick of time. He climbs aboard the chopper, and they take off. However, Peter immediately asks Francine how much fuel they have, to which she responds,
"Not much."
This was not meant to be feel-good or open-ended. It was meant to imply the hell they've escaped from isn't something you can actually outrun. The world is in chaos. There are no more officers to protect and serve, no more doctors to diagnose and treat, no more gas cylinder fitters to restock helicopter fuel pumps. Peter and Francine will fly through the sky loud as hell till they patter to the ground out of fuel and out of luck.
What if Strange Thoughts is right?
Of course he's right.
All right.
He's always right.
I guarantee you this is all Kel's fault.
Wait, who?
I don't know, never mind.
Chapter 3, Day of the Dead.
Well, it's a new day in a reality in which each day is worse than the one prior. By now, zombies have pretty much taken over everything, including our dreams. Reason number 8, dysfunction at its most insane. These are circumstances you'd hate to be in. Sarah is in a world of shit, or Fort Myers, Florida.
Ew, gross.
She, a scientist, along with other scientists, have paired up with soldiers in a naive effort to eradicate this zombie threat and reclaim our planet. The closest thing she's got to friends here are Bill the resident radio operator, who is a total alcoholic, and John the helicopter pilot, who's level-headed like Sarah in many ways, just I actually have nothing negative to say about him. Miguel hangs around a lot too, but mainly due to the fact that Sarah basically has to babysit the poor bastard. He's a soldier who's been in the suck way too long and is slowly losing his damn mind. None of the other soldiers care whatsoever, but they're pervy airheads. The kind where English is their second language even though they're American, because their first language is locker room talk. Sarah tries to explain the seriousness of the matter to them, but what does she know? She's a woman! Their logic, not mine. They also spend less time focused on the undead than they do their marijuana plants. Because priorities.
I've got better things to do than listen to this kindergarten.
When she tries to bring her concerns to their captain, Rhodes, we learn he's taken the whole cocky Golden God complex to new, unparalleled heights. He's conceited, irrational, and just as cuckoo crazy as Miguel, but from a place of power, not fear. As he obnoxiously runs her down, it becomes very apparent that the main point of tension here is less to do with the humans and zombies than the military, with the scientists they're supposed to be working with.
Yes, sir. You, sir.
Logan, the other key scientist here, is just as insane as Miguel and Rhodes, but from a place of obsession, not power or fear. See, it's his ever-growing infatuation with zombies that steers his agenda way off course from that which he was tasked with in the first place. Rhodes and the other soldiers are under the assumption that Logan, aka Frankenstein, is working towards the complete eradication of this zombie problem they are facing. In actuality, though, Logan's primary focus is on not zombie eradication, but the domestication of them instead. The dude also likes to incorporate the dead corpses of fallen soldiers into his weird-ass experiments. Now this terrifies Sarah. She tells Logan if Rhodes finds out he's secretly doing pretty much the opposite of what he was hired to do, all hell would break loose. But no one prior to Logan's heeded a single one of her recommendations, and Logan's no different.
Do you know what they'll do to you if they find out about this? Do you know what they'll do to all of us?
He tells her to take a chill pill. Relax. There's no way Rhodes will find out. Which is movie talk for that's exactly what is bound to happen. Before we watch these dominoes fall, it cannot be ignored that Sarah's residence through all of this is an underground bunker she shares with these maniacs. What? If you've seen our prior videos, you already know our opinion of underground hideouts.
Finding yourself a new home hidden underground somewhere isn't going to save your life. It'll buy you some time maybe, but the inevitable conclusion in this scenario sees the machines finding you. When they find you, they won't just find you, they'll find the whole lot of you because you're all bunched together now. They'll be able to exterminate you all at the same time.
Replace Terminators with zombies and our opinion remains the exact same. The Miguel warnings fall on deaf ears and he continues to go crazier and crazier. Logan, despite repeated warnings, continues putting forth 100% of his focus into the domestication of Bub here. And God help us all, it appears to be working. Bub seems to be learning and growing as a zombie. Through this whole process, a genuine bond forms between him and Logan. That's not good, because Rhodes eventually does find out what Logan is really up to. When he learns Logan's been feeding the body of dead soldiers to the zombies for dinner, it's game over for the mad scientist. Amidst this focused distraction, Miguel hightails it out of the bunker to kick it with the undead. And what goes up must come down. Being trapped in an underground bunker that is now covered with zombies is the ultimate worst case scenario, especially when an evolving Bub stumbles onto the dead body of his fallen father figure of sorts. What could have been a heartwarming tale about an unlikely bond turns into a zombie Punisher origin story. A zombie that knows how to operate a firearm. Terrific. Circumstances are circumstances, but beyond that, there's a far bigger lesson here. Like Sarah, you can be as rational and level-headed as it gets. You can walk the walk, you talk all you want, but what ultimately happens to you is mostly out of your hands. Reason number 9, you aren't in control of your fate. Each and every person's choices and actions affects everybody, and everybody, no matter their level of sanity or rationale, will be convinced that their approach to all of this is the most logical and practical. If you're trying to explain ways one might beat, say, one of the Friday the 13th movies, an argument could definitely be made. Like, leave the camp, you turd Ferguson. Or Nightmare on Elm Street. Move to a different town. Jaws, go to a different beach, or just don't go in the water.
A mobile phone, like doing murders.
Why couldn't you just take the battery out of the phone?
Right, that's it, the battle's over.
Yeah, we've won.
The advantage you'd have in those circumstances is the ability to take action for yourself. If others follow your lead, then good for them. If they don't, oh well, at least you'll survive. In a situation like this, however, any sort of how to beat advice would mirror the things Sarah fights for just to get repeatedly denied or ignored. It's an issue that spans the entire franchise. I mean, take Dawn of the Dead, for example. In hindsight, after watching it, you could argue to beat it, you'd want to stick to the original plan of taking that helicopter to Canada instead of impulsively deciding to settle for the shopping mall. The thing is, that's exactly what Francine fights for them to do. She doesn't want to stay at the mall and implores them they should stick to the plan while they're still able to access and utilize pumping stations. Peter, Roger, and Steven disagree. Thus, her opinion is overruled and there's nothing she can do about it.
Are we finished here?
Yeah, we're finished. I mean, the best case scenario here is you end up trapped on a deserted island waiting to die with two people you realize you don't really share an actual connection with. You might still be breathing for now, but if you were to ask me, that's in no way, shape, or form an indication you've truly beaten a damn thing. And if you were to also ask me what the biggest thing I've learned here is, well, it would definitely be as devastating of an impact a zombie takeover would have on the world as we know it. Our biggest downfall would come from the way we treat each other. And that's bitch, man. That is so bitch.
The end.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on what? We've covered everything.
Yeah, I know, but that's 9 reasons.
So what?
I don't know. That's, no pun intended, a strange number to end things on. Shouldn't it be 10?
Well, what is it you suggest we do, strange guy?
Let's pull the curtain back on this whole Tinseltown depiction of things. Hit 'em hard one more time with the true reality of this zombie threat.
I think I know where you're going with this, and I think I like it.
Your voice gives me goosebumps.
Final chapter, Return of the Living Dead.
Reason number 10, the cold hard truth about zombies. Here's the scenario. You just got a job at You Need a Medical Supply and are undergoing employee training. From AFPTs, which stands of course for Adult Female Perfect Teeth in regards to skeletons, to proper packing methods, prosthetics, split dogs, and human cadavers, there's a lot to learn quickly, so thank God for Adderall. During your break, you and your superior Frank engage in small talk, which ultimately leads to a very particular question.
Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Of course you've seen it. It's a classic. But guess what, chicken butt?
Did you know that movie was based on a true case?
See, back in 1969 at a VA hospital, there was a chemical spill, 2,4,5-trioxin, an experimental substance being developed for the Army. This thing leaked its way down into the morgue and ultimately reanimated the dead. Got wild. It was a total fiasco, but the Army finally got the whole thing under control and ended up shipping out all the contaminated dirt and cryogenically frozen undead bodies, fully intending on keeping the entire situation a secret. Turns out though, the silly gooses sent the contained contaminations to the wrong address. Frank here knows all this because the wrong place it was sent to is the very building you're in right now. He's willing to prove it too. You follow him down into the basement and see the shipments for yourself. As spooky as it is, these things were packed by the Army and are very well contained. No chance whatsoever in a leak. Uh-oh! The spill knocks you both unconscious, seeps through the basement, then up into the vent that leads straight into the room where the cadaver is. When you both finally come to, it quickly becomes clear that Cadaver is back from the dead and ready to rumble. It's okay though, everything is fine. You've seen Night of the Living Dead. We heard from Bill and Richard earlier. You just gotta destroy its brain. Thing is, when you release the beast and finally get a hold of him, you chop off his head and he still shows coked up sense of life. That's right, as shocking as it may be, the film that was based on a true story somehow clearly had some inconsistencies with the truth. No matter what you do, nothing seems to keep this zombie down. Bert, the owner of Unida, comes up with a solution though. His Nazi friend Ernie owns a nearby crematorium, and he's certain the Ernster will help burn this cut-up bastard to ashes. At first, the results of this seem incredibly promising. Unfortunately though, through the chimney, the ashes and dust mix with the clouds and a radioactive downpour breaks out, splashing down over a large cemetery. Obvious spoiler, a total zombie outbreak occurs. Turns out real zombies aren't just virtually unstoppable, they're also more feverish, strategic, and conversational.
Send more paramedics.
If the only way to truly stop them is to turn them into ash, we'd have to continue setting them on fire. But when we set them on fire, the outbreak spreads further courtesy of the air. We're completely done for. There are two possible conclusions here. One, a zombie eats us. Two, the army nukes us. Either way, though, a nuke is absolutely bound to go off.
Hey, listen. You hear anything?
And when it does, it will spread this thing all over. It goes back to reason number 4. Humans, by nature, are impulsive and trigger happy when it comes to facing unfamiliar danger.
Game over, man. It's game over. What are we gonna do?
If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button and sharing it wherever. Maybe leave a like and comment too, so we can continue this zombie discussion below. I've got so much more planned, and I can't wait to bring it to each and every one of you. Until next time, hasta la vista, baby.